Hi there, and welcome to the Play Therapy Circle. Before we begin, please note this podcast is for informational and educational purposes only. It does not provide therapeutic advice, and listening does not create a client therapist relationship. All views expressed are my own, and any case examples shared have been de identified to protect privacy. If you're seeking personal support, please reach out to a qualified mental health professional in your area. Hi, and welcome to an episode of the Play Therapy Circle. I'm Kylie Ellison, a therapist, clinical supervisor, and play therapy trainer, and I'm so grateful you're here. This podcast is a space for thoughtful, soulful conversations about child-centered therapy, play-based work, and what it means to show up with presence and compassion, both for our clients and for ourselves. Whether you're a seasoned play therapist, a student just starting out, or someone deeply passionate about working with children, you belong here. Hi everyone, and welcome back to the Play Therapy Circle podcast. I'm your host, Kylie Ellison, and I am so glad you are here. Welcome to part 2 of our episode on 10 things every play therapist needs to know at Christmas. Ooh, this episode is coming out the week of Christmas. Oh, I just bumped the screen. This is coming out the week of Christmas. So I'm very excited for that. I hope that you guys are feeling ready now for Christmas. If some of you listening at this time when it's going to be released are already on Christmas break, that's amazing. I'm so happy for you. I hope you're doing okay. So this episode is dedicated to all of my child-centered play therapists out there who are heading into Christmas Day. This is for you. So I want to talk a little bit about some of the things to hold in mind and keep in mind as we're working during this year, because you are important too. So what do we mean when we talk about looking after ourselves? Oh my gosh, that sounds like such a loaded question, right? Because we are just as important in the playroom in making sure that we're okay along with our clients and supporting our clients. So this time of year can be very challenging. So when we talk about my first point here around the end of year fatigue is real. Ooh, if you are feeling a little bit fatigued right now, that's because oftentimes fatigue is layered. It's not just December. It's the whole year. It's the whole year. So if you took a moment to kind of reflect, and I feel like I'm going to do this for our last episode, is just kind of like a year in snapshot. And I feel like there's probably so many apps and things out there. I am so like behind with the times, you guys, around AI and stuff like that. I'm sure there's apps that you can put in your photos, if that's a thing, like your family photos. I'm not talking about client work, obviously, but just kind of your life and what you've done this year to personally kind of reflect, not to share anywhere, but just for your own reflections. I imagine that if we had some sort of creative collage put together or something, it would be huge for everyone listening. It's been a year, you guys. It's been a year. And I feel like maybe because I'm getting older as well, I feel like I say that every year. So if you feel like you say that every year, I see you as well. Maybe it's just the weight of the years. I don't know. That sounds very deep and way too deep for today. But I think that when we talk about the different stresses that we hold, there's the emotional holding for our clients, there's the admin side of things, and then there's your own life stresses thrown in the mix there. So if you are feeling that culmination, there's good reason for that. There's a lot going on. So we may have also at this time a level of kind of our reduced patience. So if you are feeling a little bit more like your bandwidth is a little bit more limited, that's important to take notice of. And it's certainly not that you are failing in any way. It's more just your capacity right now leading into the holiday period. So your nervous system might be a bit overloaded as well. That's just the nature of where we are at this time of year and that culmination of everything we have worked on and supported and held space for over the year as well. Compassion fatigue. It's important to kind of note that without any shame, that we all work to the best of our abilities every day. And I know that for every person listening, that is your goal, is to come into the playroom, hear children's stories, support families, and be there for your community. I have no doubt. But with that, eventually, if we're not taking good enough care of ourselves, comes that accumulation of that compassion fatigue and potentially burnout. I want to call them different things, and I almost feel like that needs to be a podcast episode all on its own, because we need to dive into those definitions. But I just want to highlight, if there is any sense of compassion fatigue, that's okay to feel that as well, and to acknowledge that and notice that in the lead up to Christmas. Fatigue deserves care, not self-criticism. So I feel like I can relate to this a little bit. When you feel like in the lead up to Christmas, you're maybe not getting everything done as quickly as you like. Literally after recording this, I have about half a dozen admin type tasks that I need to do, and it's Saturday and I'm doing it on a Saturday. So I'm like the worst example here, guys, really. That's okay. I know, and the reason I can justify it, and everyone needs to have their justification of how they make this work. For me, I know I'm finishing up next week, so it's kind of, for me, about wrapping up those admin tasks so that I can truly have a break when we finish up next Friday. So I think that as long as you have those boundaries in place and those end goals in sight, and you know you're going to have a break, making sure that you are not being too hard on yourself if you don't feel like you're getting everything done and you're feeling that fatigue, because that's real as well. That's real. The second one, oh gosh, I'm losing count of the numbers because I'm fatigued. Point number two. Well, technically over our two-parter, it's number 7, but point number 2 for this episode. Rest is not a reward, it's a clinical responsibility. So anyone who is not going to take a break over Christmas, so if you have... so here in Brisbane, again, I'm just going to talk to Brisbane, you guys. We have public holidays for Christmas Day, Boxing Day, and New Year's Day. I think that's all of them. I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure over that kind of period of time between Christmas and New Year, there's a couple of public holidays. So there may be some members of our community who are only having those days off and working in between. So if that's you, have you got something scheduled soon where you will be able to have a break? Because that rest is important for you to recharge. And I truly, and I feel like I've documented this in previous episodes, but I truly noticed it when I went away and had my first week kind of off properly for the year, how much better I felt when I came back. And that was only a week. I mean, I got sick, but that was the germs on the plane. But after that, I've noticed that even in my work in the playroom, I've been able to be more present and I felt more kind of re-energized. So I do think there is lots of benefits to being able to have that scheduled break. So if you are not taking time off between Christmas and New Year, do you have something planned soon? Because that's really important. Therapist regulation impacts client safety. Oh, I don't want to get too real here for this episode. I think it's important because I always lean into my tenets of CCPT. If I can't be 100% present, I need to be. So I'm certainly taking every step I can to make sure I am present in the playroom. But if I'm not, I'm just making sure that I'm acknowledging and recognizing that and showing my congruence in the playroom, because kids will pick up on that anyway and may even interpret it in a negative way and sort of feel like they're boring us, or, they're not good enough, or all of that sort of counter-transference that can happen. So just acknowledging if you're having a tough time to regulate and really taking those steps to look after yourself. So having a break helps. Rest supports attunement and presence. It really does, truly. Burnout reduces therapeutic effectiveness. I feel like I don't have to say that either. If you're not really able to be present and you're just going through the motions and you're exhausted, it will likely have an impact potentially on your therapeutic outcomes with your clients. So it's not just a privilege or a reward, it's a necessity as part of your practice. Rest is preventative, not indulgent. So it's actually helping us get through the year. And I truly am taking that mindset into 2026. And I know I've talked about this in previous episodes, so you guys already probably know for our regular listeners, but I have scheduled breaks all next year because I didn't this year and I'm exhausted. So I learnt very quickly, because I tend to be in that space. I'll take that on board pretty quickly and pivot. And I realized I needed regular breaks next year. So that's really important as well, that you don't feel like you have to earn rest. And for any of you who are constant goal setters like me, constantly keep moving forward rather than taking those breaks. You almost feel like you have to justify it. Please don't feel like you have to justify it. I'm talking to myself as I'm talking to you guys as well. We don't need to justify it, because it's actually part of us being able to be the best version of ourselves in the playroom for our clients. So it's actually really important. And ethical practice includes sustainability. That is like going to be my catchphrase for 2026, because having those regular breaks is going to help that sustainability, certainly for me as a practitioner. So if you are thinking about that, if you're kind of struggling with feeling tired over this Christmas holiday period, reflecting on those breaks, how you're able to do that. I think breaks look different. They look different for different people, but I also think that breaks look different from short to long term. So what do I mean by that? I feel like you can have breaks, say, with public holidays. So where you might have a situation. So Easter is kind of an example here in Brisbane. So in Brisbane, we would have Good Friday as a public holiday and Easter Monday as a public holiday. So technically then, if you have Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday off, you've had like a 4-day long weekend. For me, and I'm just talking to me, you guys, I have learnt this year that's not enough. So if I feel like I am having that break and, I should be recharged and I'm not, I'm questioning, why can't I do better and be more energized and more present for my clients. What I've learned this year is I'm not fully recharged yet. It's not enough. So we are going to be closing for a whole week of that Christmas New Year period to have a proper week and a half almost off during that time. So that's one way to kind of reflect on, has long weekends been enough for you? Do you just need more of those in your schedule next year, or do you actually need a proper break? And everyone will be different and have a different answer to that. Okay, number 3 for this episode, number 8 for those 10 things. You don't have to reflect, review, and reset all at once. Oh man, this is me in real time. We may feel that pressure to wrap up everything perfectly at the end of the year. We know we work at the pace of the child. We work in a person-centered approach to therapy. We work with our communities and our families holistically, and not everyone is going to be beautifully kind of wrapped up, finished, and sorted by the time you close your office, say for us, the 19th of December. It just doesn't happen that way. So don't feel that pressure to have ticked all those boxes, completed all those tasks before you finish. I'm literally talking to myself, you guys. Saying this. Oh man, don't do it. It will all be there next year. That's a glass half empty approach. But no, I think it's what is within our circle of influence, what is achievable for us, and being proud of that as opposed to critical of that. So end of year reviews can feel overwhelming. It can feel, when you're having those Christmas parties or your get-togethers with your organization or your team or whatever that looks like for you, it can just be a year in review being, that was a lot. That was a lot. So yeah, feel free to have that permission. But also too, I feel like I'm really not so positive today. So I feel like I want to put a positive spin on it. Certainly for many practitioners out there, you might have started your own practice this year, and that's incredible. That's something to celebrate. That's amazing. So there will be those end of year reviews that are amazing. So do that and celebrate that if that's for you. Reflection doesn't need to be deep or complete. It can just be now. Just how are you feeling coming to the end of the year? And I invite all of you guys listening to do this in your way, in your time, at your leisure, maybe over the Christmas period. Just take some time to reflect. I know I'm going to be doing that when I sit on the beach of Bargara in January. 1000%. That's exactly what I'm going to be doing. And just honouring how hard me and the team have worked, all of the incredible stuff we've achieved this year, and celebrating that as opposed to necessarily feeling like I needed to tick a whole bunch of stuff off. January is allowed to hold reflection. So that's what I just said that in terms of doing that myself in January. If you don't feel like you can do that in the lead up to Christmas and you just need a break, and maybe January is your time to reflect and decide on your intentions for 2026, I think that's great too. pausing is productive as well. Ooh, pausing is productive, because what I've learnt this year is that it's so important for us to have our cup full in order to be able to help support others. So if our cup is empty, we're not going to be able to do that. So pausing, I find, and just having a break is really helpful for me. So whatever works, I guess, for you in that space as well. Number 9, point number 4 for this episode. Christmas self-care doesn't have to look Instagram worthy. Whoa. The truth bombs, you guys. The truth bombs. Oh, this is like a whole other episode I want to do all on its own around that phenomenon of the Instagram mums. I don't know if anyone knows about that. I probably talked about that before on the podcast. That's just what immediately fired in my brain when I thought of that. Take that pressure off, that you don't need to have it posted online. You don't need to have evidence that you have kicked goals, that you are amazing and killing it. You may want to, though. I mean, that's totally fine as well. But don't feel like it needs to be Instagram worthy. I really love this title. The nervous system care is often boring and repetitive. I want to jump sideways for a second. As you guys know, I've been trying to post on Instagram and Facebook to kind of keep you guys updated about my life. And that was one of the things that I was grappling with, was this whole idea of, well, I kind of have a bit of a boring life. So what am I going to post on Instagram? So it's generally just me chatting because I really don't have a lot that's hugely exciting happening. But that's okay as well. That's life. The social media version is just 1%, and then 99% exists outside of social media. So do what works for you. And if it's repetitive and boring and just grounding and just unique to you, great. Do it, because that's what's most important. It may look like for you over the Christmas period, fewer social events. Maybe you don't want to go to a whole bunch of things like everyone's posting on social media about. Maybe it's that you like to go to bed early. So our ritual here is that we love to watch a Christmas movie and make hot chocolate, but you can bet I'm in bed by 9. So if you're not having big nights, even I was saying to my kids yesterday, I was like, and they're obviously older now, but I was saying to them, we should go around and drive around the streets and have a look at the Christmas lights, because that's always really fun, gets you into kind of the festive spirit. And we were all just kind of literally like, oh yeah, I guess we could. We're all tired. It's all the end of the year. So I kind of went, oh, we should be doing that, but maybe we won't. Maybe we actually won't. Maybe we will just look at our own Christmas lights. I don't know. I think it's do what's right for you and for your family. Absolutely. Simplifying meals, or maybe just those quiet transitions after work. Just not so much chaos or hecticness or social events or just social engagements, because self-care should reduce stimulation, not add to it. Where's all my extroverted introverts at? Yay, I see you. We like to go to a party for about 5 minutes and then we smoke bomb and leave because we've got nothing left in our social battery. We will do that for about 5 or 10 minutes. So it needs to restore you, not what looks good. Oh, there we go, you guys. Holy moly, all the truth bombs today. The last point I want to tell you guys, for play therapists, child centered play therapists at Christmas time, ending the year without guilt is a skill. Guilt often shows up when slowing down. Productivity culture infiltrates our helping professions, including us. So you are allowed to emotionally soften before the break. And letting go protects longevity in the field. So we can feel that guilt, especially coming into the end of the year when we're not doing our client work, we're not, in the trenches of our private practice, whatever that looks like, because our culture, community culture, and again, I can talk to Brisbane and talk to my local area. Certainly it's about the culture of being busy as being valued in our community. So that can come into the helping profession, including child-centered play therapists as well. And we can feel that guilt about taking a break, about what's going to happen for our clients, How is our work going to change in the new year? All of those things. But letting go of that guilt can help you in your longevity of your work, because otherwise it can really wear you down and have the opposite effect. So ending early or doing less is not abandonment. It's about sustainability as an act of care for future clients. I think when we feel about this guilt, or we notice this guilt, it will be about our current clients and how we're supporting and serving them. I really like this point. It's something that I often lean into as well. And what I'm taking into 2026 is that I want to be sustainable in my ability to provide my services across everything that I do. I have so many different aspects of the work that I do that I don't want that to fall down if I am exhausted and burn out. So I actually want to take those breaks so that I can be the best version of myself that I can be. So I hope that that message connects for you, because I know in the helping space, we can feel so much guilt about taking that time off and feeling like we're letting our clients down. And I actually think, as I've just got to mention in those points, it's about the long game. It's about, I want to be able to serve my community for many years to come, not just in the next 6 months or 12 months. So how do I manage that? It's a marathon, not a sprint. How do I manage that so that I can be the best version of myself? And we can't just work indefinitely. We have to take those breaks to be able to recharge. And I think that that's what I've learned this year, most definitely. So I hope that resonates for you too. And I hope that it gives you that permission, if you are feeling that guilt, to let that go, because you are doing your future clients a favor by doing that, because it means you're going to be the best version of yourself next year to be able to serve more families in your community. So that is the end of our episode, part two, you guys, of 10 things we needed to know at Christmas time. I'm going to do a final mini episode to wrap up our 2025 year. Before I go, as this episode will fall just before Christmas, I believe, I would like to wish everyone listening a very Merry Christmas, because that is what we say in Brisbane. So I'm saying where I am locally. For those of you internationally, happy holidays. I hope that each of you get that chance to connect, recharge, and yes, just feel that sense of attunement and alignment and joy that the end of the year can bring us when we get to stop and reflect. For whatever period of time that you end up getting that sense of downtime. I also want to acknowledge, though, that for many of our listeners internationally, Christmas or the holiday period may be a really tough time for you as well. So I just want to normalize that, acknowledge that, and send you all of my love, because it is not an easy time of year. I want you to feel like you are seen and heard during this time, that you and your feelings are valid, and it's important that you take care of yourselves during this time. So please look after each other and yourselves. Be kind to you more so than ever over this Christmas holiday period and holidays going into the new year. Thank you so much for your support. I hope that this episode has been a gentle and kind reminder to each of you to look after yourselves. And I will see you for one final episode in 2025, and then can't wait to connect with you again in 2026. So thank you so much for your support. Talk to you soon. Bye. Thank you so much for being here for another episode of the Play Therapy Circle. If anything resonated with you today, I'd love it if you could follow the podcast, share it with a colleague, or leave a short review. It really helps others find our circle. And if you have a topic or question you'd love me to explore, I'd love to hear from you. This space is for you, and I want it to feel like a conversation. Until next time, take care of yourself, and remember, you belong here.